Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are welcome in the essence. This broadcast, Brownstone, the light is contagious. But you need go on and receive it for yourself. Just open it, exuberant, evolution, excited. We standing on the foundation of expression. You might have seen, you might have been, or you could have gravitated. Our foundation, we want to create a space for all to collaborate and be liberated from eventually all over the globe. And we are extending a hand to those who are an extension from maybe platforms, dig into another stratosphere. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. And that is MSG, the message in the message. I can OD on my execution of excellency. And this as a man right now, and things aren't created, but see true.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the night shift, your Friday edition of Hanging Out with the People in the Neighborhood. I'm Paulette. I am the owner and founder of Brownstone Worldwide, Cityscape Radio, and Brownstone Living Magazine. Y'all, I've been running the streets all day today, but not so much so. Let me see if I can move you guys. Let's see. I'm going to move it back just a little bit. Not so much so that I'm trying to move y'all near the other. Here we go. Oh, that's too far back. Trying to move you guys here, there. But I can still see you all. So not so much so that I could not keep up with the news. So I've been running the streets today, and I had to run the streets yesterday. Not in that sense, but I've been on location, and so whenever I'm on location, what color do I wear? All the way down, black, so I can film and not be so obvious in my appearance. So the client and the people that are there can focus on what they're doing. So we always wear black. So I've been on location, and then I went to go hang out with a family member a little bit later. And honey, I ran across your homeboy and that mouth of his, And I thought, you know what? No one's going to believe me. They're never going to believe me. Yeah, it's like a uniform, right? Yeah. So it makes it easy for me. It an interpreter's color, the black. Hey, honey, how are you? Y'all come on in here. It is Friday. It's Friday then. It's that, however the song goes. But anyway, so I was so blown away. I went and I bought a whole bottle of my favorite drink. Yes, it's Friday then. Yeah, I was just trying to wrap up and cook and get things finished up. Yes, James, I don't blame you. But listen, so I had a really good day. And then after we got done and we wrapped up and we finished edits, y'all, we finished edits and filming in one day. Let's talk about that. All right, so this dude, I'm just going to play it for you because the reason why I'm not saying any names is because people think I make this up, and I do not. I don't make this stuff up. I really don't. I'm actually on my personal Facebook page because this is real life, y'all. I need you all to hear this. I'm gonna edit. I'm gonna push all the way through it. Here we go. Let me turn it up. Take a listen.
would reach out to.
No. Here's what's happening in the shutdown. Honestly, can I put it in plain words?
Can y'all hear that?
And you're a smart guy, so you'll understand. But a lot of people don't. The Democrats are getting killed on the shutdown because we're closing up programs that are Democrat programs that we were opposed to. So we're being able, and they're never going to come back in many cases. So we're being able to do things that we were unable to do before. So we're closing up programs that are Democrat programs that we wanted to close up or that we never wanted to happen. And now we're closing them up. And we're not going to let them come back. The Democrats are getting killed. And we're going to have a list of them on Friday, closing up some of the most egregious, socialist, semi-communist, probably not full communist, we're saving that for New York, but semi-communist programs. And we're closing them up. We're not closing up Republican programs because we think they work. So the Democrats are getting killed, but they're not telling the people about that. I say it, nobody, well, I haven't said it probably as bluntly as I just said it, but so we are closing up Democrat programs.
I don't know, Ducky Man.
That we think that we disagree with, and they're never going to open again. Thank you very much.
Did y'all hear that? Y'all heard that, right? Yep. Video on Google and the list. Excuse me. Do I need to say any more? I was so blown away by what I heard. That's concerning what he said. What do you mean being killed? Are you the one that's taking them out? Well, here's the thing. What he was saying when he said that the K word was he was metaphorically speaking. And what he meant by that was he's playing a game, y'all. Yeah. This is and how many times have I said this is a game? Jojo, we say it all the time in here. They playing a game. Hey, Angelique, how are you, honey? Do you see what I mean? Hey, Bookish, how are you? So when I heard it, I said, now see, I'm going to just go ahead and just pull it and let you all decide. But I'm going to tell you what I did today. I don't do this. I just needed a little fantasy. I sure did. I did. I don't even play this. I said, give me a scratch off and something to drink. I went to the liquor store and I bought a scratch off, a Three Musketeers bar, a pack of gum. Yes. And I poured myself some ice and some vodka. Yeah. Because right now, I went wild, Kedra. I did. I went wild and I said, I need thee. Oh, I need thee. Because that's all I could think to do. Every hour I need thee. Oh, bless. Because there are no words. Liquor is quicker. So I said, I'm going to do a little scratch off. I ate my Three Musketeers, right? After I had my leftover rib from Texas Roadhouse. Oh, thank you so much, Bookish. I might just make a pumpkin pie. No, it'll be a sweet potato. Listen, because I didn't know what else to do. And I said, everybody should say to themselves, I want off this ride. Jojo. Yeah. You gonna make some brownies? What you putting in your brownies, Kedra? Woo, my God, today. And I said, let me go sit down with my folks. Because I cannot understand how how? Thank you. Well, I didn't, you can't really see it, but yeah. So I said, because it's gambling. But yes, I did. I put myself on a calm out period, right? Because I didn't know what else to do. And I said, what else can I do except go live and let's talk about it? Because right now, you're on the gummies right now. Well, I don't do the gummies, but what I will say, and I tried the gummies like right after I had surgery and I couldn't sleep really well. So I tried the gummies, but I thought, let me go ahead and make some notes, because in my little bitty planner, which is multiple planners in one. And I thought, let me make some notes and let's talk about some things, because ultimately at the end of the day, we're going to have to work through this together, y'all, because you heard it for yourself. I didn't want to be the one to deliver the message. I wanted the messenger to be the messenger, because I never want anyone to say, I said, or she said, and no, there's no way you can take that out of context at all. Correct? All right. Your soul is heavy. I'm trying to stay chipper for my kid. Well, here's what you do. Remember this, and we say this often, and I need you all to hear me on this, because I mean this with every fiber of my being. When I say the power of collective consciousness can never be denied. The power of collective consciousness can never be denied. Let me say it again. The power of collective consciousness can never be denied. What does that mean? What are we focusing upon? I'm not going to give it a lot of energy after we go through it. No, I'm not giving it a bunch of energy. We're not doing that. But you do need to know what it says, what he said out his mouth. He said, we're playing a game. This is football. This is soccer. This is tennis. This is all the things. This is NBA games. This is that. Right? That's what this is. I told y'all that time and time and time again. They're not playing the same games we are. We know that this is life. This is our lives. For those, and let me be clear. It was a conversation I had with my children. Some of us have not been impacted, but it's coming, right? I'm one of those who gets up, goes to work every day. I do not receive any government aid, nor does anyone else in this house. But that does not mean for myself or for others that I do not have the heart that is necessary to be compassionate and to have that for other people. I cannot sit here and eat toast and ask you what you did with your food stamps this month, and then get mad when your employer fires you for your callousness, because you do not represent what they represent. You can't be mad when you yourself said that you at one time got food stamps. How dare you? Tracy says, I have a special needs child. Let's go through this list, shall we? Exactly. It doesn't have, period. No, it does not. Just what Uncle Everfox said. I hope I said that right. Yep. Hey, Lulu, how are you? So you don't have to be living in it to have a heart for the people, which is where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? And for those of us who work hard or whatever, I work hard and I pay my taxes and do the things, because at one point I needed the help. I needed it. There's a song about a man named Mr. Wendell. And some people are one paycheck away from being out on the street, from losing everything. And we can't ever for once think that that could never be us. Yep, I heard. Yeah, no, ain't no heard. She talked about it. People calling a job and stuff and so forth and tagging. Yeah, you got to be careful out here in these streets. A lot of people have stopped. Yeah. And they're coming fast, ain't they? I don't understand how people could be so callous. But let's jump into it, shall we? Because I looked it up and I said, well, what list is he talking about? Like, I don't understand like what he means by that. So what I did was I pulled up a summary of some of the specific programs and initiatives that this current administration and his group of merry men have labeled, or as the one young man says, Wig and his cabinet of combs, have labeled socialist, woke, or otherwise part of the federal programs they wish to eliminate or radically restructure. Now, what I was not able to do was to find a comprehensive list of everything, and I've researched it a couple times and wasn't really able to come up with anything, but he has teased that there is a list. So definitely wanted to put out there. Major targeted areas and programs. According to what I've been able to compile, this came from on May 2nd, 2025, from the White House itself. He wants to cut woke programs. What the hell you mean woke program? Now is the time for entrepreneurship and self-determination. Yep, it's hard too. It is hard, especially when you're family person, you got all the things that's going on and so forth. So in the fiscal year 2026 budget fact sheet from the White House, the quote cuts to woke program list states the preschool development grants. Did you hear what I just said? About $315 million will be eliminated. You want to find it? It is literally on the whitehouse.gov website. It's called Cuts to Woke Programs. Let me repeat it again. Cuts to Woke Programs. So let's go through it. Woke program highlights. President Trump has committed to eliminating radical gender and racial ideologies that poison the minds of Americans. The president's fiscal year 2026 budget upholds the Constitution by eliminating funding for cultural Marxism. Hold on. Hang on. Okay. Yeah. It's plain. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back into it. The reason why I did that was because I wanted to make sure on my other computer that we're pulling up the definition of some of these things for folks that may not be clear on what they are. And so I actually pulled up the definition of Marxism and socialism so that we can go through these as, because we finna break this apart. Okay. Let's go ahead and break it apart. All right. Why are we talking about this? Because you have a right to know. Why do you have a right to know? Because you get up every day and you go to work and you pay taxes for these programs, which ultimately everybody who pays taxes pays into these programs. And the hard part is that I think people have this misconception that it's not going to hit them, and it will. It will eventually. So let's read it again. Cuts to woke programs is on whitehouse.gov. Once again, I am citing my sources because I don't ever want anyone to think that I'm making this up to sway anyone. You have a right to know. President Trump is committed to eliminating radical gender and racial ideologies that poison the minds of Americans. The president's fiscal year 2026 budget upholds the Constitution by eliminating funding for cultural Marxism. So let's find out what it is. Marxism is a social, political, and economic theory developed in the 19th century by Karl Marx with an M-A-R-X and Friedrich Engels. It provides a framework for understanding how societies develop and how power and resources are distributed between different social classes. Catch that? Mm-hmm. All right, so there it's literally the haves and the have-nots, right? So you have your proletariats and you also have your bourgeoisie. Okay, so let me break it down. At its heart, Marxism argues that society is shaped by the way goods and services are produced and distributed. Those who control the means of production, like factories, land, and technology, hold power, right? Okay, while those who work for them have less power. So he says that he wants to uphold the Constitution by eliminating funding for cultural Marxism. Cultural Marxism. Okay? Now, there's the wealthier capitalist class who owns the means of production, and then the working class who sell their labor to survive. I know, honey. I know, calm. But here's the thing. The more you know, the better decisions that you will be making for yourself. Okay, Sean said we go back to the Gilded Age. We are going informed regardless, right? All right, so materialism, we could go into the isms, feudalism, capitalism, socialism, and communism as economic systems change. He argued that history progresses through material conditions, not just ideas. So there's the class struggle, and I think we're still dealing with that now today. But let's dig a little bit deeper. So woke program cuts highlights. Here's what he wants to cut. Where is this once again? The whitehouse.gov. All right. All right, here we go. The first program that they want to cut, and I mean, if you have anybody that you know that have children who are part of this program, you know that it's being cut already. Preschool development grants. Now, the budget eliminates this $315 million grant program that was a tool of the last administration to push diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI policies into early care and education, such as giving money to the Minnesota Department of Education to implement intersectionality and racial equality for 4-year-olds. Through this program, federal funding was provided to create a, quote, guidebook on lessons for creating quality care for Oregon's LGBTQIA plus families in collaboration with an organization called Pride Northwest. That's the first one. Get rid of preschool development grants, the grants. Teacher quality partnerships, or the TQP, and equity assistance centers. The budget eliminates 77 million uses to indoctrinate new teachers. Training materials in these partnerships included topics such as critical race theory, DEI, social justice activism, anti-racism, and instruction on white privilege and white supremacy. Nearly $6 million to train teachers in educating kindergartners on, quote, racial literacy. It also helped establish a master's program for teachers of color and to center racism in their pedagogy. Number 3, pathways to removing obstacles, or PRO, to housing. These Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, housing grants using taxpayers' dollars to fund to fund local governments that pursue radical racial, gender, and climate goals. For example, HUD provided $6.7 million to Los Angeles County to conduct an equity audit and reverse land use patterns that have roots in systemically racist policies. $4 million to New York City to improve its environment review materials, $5 million to the city of Seattle to redress past harms through a quote legacy homeowner program that targeted Black, Indigenous people of color residents at risk of displacement, and $2.1 million to Milwaukee to rectify racial disparities in home ownership. HUD also propagandized training videos for pro-home grantees about, quote, how to incorporate equity, advancing racial equity narrative, and equity and environmental justice. Minority Business Development Agency. The MBDA violates the Civil Rights Act and maintains a lengthy history of inserting, quote, equity and other DEI practices into its programs. For example, in 2024, MBDA introduced a new language translation tool on its website to provide content in Spanish, with future plans to translate content into French, Chinese, Tagalog, and Vietnamese. In addition, MBDA mismanaged funds in recent years, wasting taxpayer dollars. Most importantly, last year, a U.S. District Court found MBDA's, quote, social disadvantage based on race or ethnicity in its funding decisions to be unconstitutional. In spite of this, the MBDA announced that it considered the ruling unconstitutional and that it would continue to fight for its ability to practice racial discrimination. Discriminatory DEI practices are the core mission of MBDA, and the agency is fully eliminated. More cuts to woke programs, community development financial institutions, or the CDFI fund. The budget eliminates CDFI fund awards that were abused to advance a partisan agenda. The CDFI fund's Equitable Recovery Program awarded funds based on race and was announced by Kamala Harris to build a more equitable, resilient economy. The elimination of this fund would also disincentivize critical race theory promoted by the Opportunity Finance Network, or the OFN, a network of over 470 CDFIs that has boasted about its efforts to advance racial justice against a, quote, white monopoly on capital. I'm going to hold off. Terminating this fund would also prevent taxpayer dollars from forwarding gender extremism, including an LGBTQ plus clinic in Detroit, transgender housing initiatives, and a fashion show promoting transgender awareness. In addition, CDFI have also been irresponsibly dedicating funds to climate radicalism and Green New Deal causes. $8.5 million from the OFN was committed to 6 CDFI recipients to support climate-focused initiatives. You said you weren't going. The functions of the CDFI is much better served by local government and the private sector than inefficient partisans. If you're just now joining us, hey Susan, how are you? Welcome to the neighborhood. If you are new here, first of all, let me pause, folks, for my people over on TikTok. Welcome to the neighborhood. If you're on Meta, if you are on Bigo, if you are on LinkedIn, if you're new here, I'm Paulette. You are in the brownstone, and we lovingly call ourselves the neighbors. And our cute little saying is, I'm on watch, and so is my neighbor. So what we're doing is we are ultimately going over the list of items that Donald Trump has indicated that he wants removed. And because of the government shutdown, they are able to move quickly through. And I didn't say it. I actually let him do the talking for himself. There is a video that is out there. You can either go to my page and you can check it out. On any one of the pages, I placed it. And then also what we do here, so that you are aware. Hey, Ducky May, how are you? If you're new here, one of the things that we do is we talk about what's happening. We provide factual information by digging deep and doing the research. And then the other thing that we do is we share this information and we give ourselves a call to action at the end, which is usually about being more proactive locally, as opposed to, bashing our fists against the wall. Because what we need to do is make sure that we remain informed, right? We got to remain informed. I don't want anyone to ever walk away from the brownstone saying, I didn't know, but I had a good time. I don't remember what we talked about. And we also encourage you guys to grab a pen. Yes, this is a marshmallow topped pen tonight, right? Grab a pen, grab a paper, take some notes. Because we also share different things at the end of every show, like websites that you can check out. Most of you guys, if not all of you, always share amazing apps or other things that we can share in terms of how to save money, what you can do locally in your community, and how you can be a part of the totality of everything that is going on a daily basis, as opposed to choosing just a weekend to do something, even though all points of what everyone is doing compiled together is that power of that collective consciousness that can never be denied. Because what we want to do is not give it focus. We want to acknowledge that it is there, but we need to focus on the positivity and the positive things that are coming out of this. And that is the collecting and the connecting of people that may not have ever had an opportunity to meet or to talk or to get to know one another, but then also build a community in this virtual world that ultimately has taken us years to get to. But a lot of us who have never physically met, I think some people saw me today, honey, when I went to BJ's today. It's a wholesale place, if you guys aren't familiar with it. And people were just stopping and they were staring and then they were stopping and then they were staring. And I was like, well, my God, today, how are you? You know, they was like, hey. And I thought, oh boy, here we go. So anyway, that's a long story because I also do commercials, and you may have seen me with a bun on my head. I'm just putting it out there. So you say, oh my gosh, she looks familiar, because I do commercials as well. And you've probably seen me. Okay. So there's that. All right. Now let's get back into it. You're afraid 47 bashed in the East Wing because of the No Kings last week. So you're crying. Carol Sue, we're going to be all right. Right? We say it all the time. That's why I can come in here and laugh and be tickled. Yes. And that's okay. Yep. So Lulu, the topics for tonight is we are going over, if you have not watched the video that I shared earlier today, it's where Trump admitted that they were during the shutdown right now, that the Democrats, he thinks it's the way he said it, right? He said the Democrats are getting killed. And he didn't mean that literally. He meant that figuratively, like it's a game. Good news, Jack Smith indicated. What was that, Rosemary? I feel so bad not being involved in the No Kings deck. I don't know why. I wasn't. Nina? Yes, that's right. The bitch in Texas court. Yeah, I love that name. Remember to remind people about the Steve Banner video. Honey, yes, we are not leaving here. I've got it in my notes. But listen. So that is something else. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up while we're here. Hang on. Let's talk about it now. So first of all, let's finish this list. And then we're going to talk about Steve Bannon saying Trump can't run again. All right. So we definitely want to talk about that. Hang on. Again, so if you're new here, welcome to the neighborhood. Yes, you can. You got this. Come on. We're going to pull through this together. If you need to come in this room whenever I'm live, come on. Hey, Mystic Winds, how are you? Hey, Miko. All right, let's finish this up. I'm on the White House website, whitehouse.gov. The list that I am going through is called Cuts to Woke programs. Now, the programs that we went through were called preschool development grants. That's one that's being cut. Teacher quality program partnerships, or the TQP, and equity assistance centers is another one. Pathways to removing obstacles to housing or pro-housing through HUD. Minority Business Development Agency of the MBDA. That's another one that's being cut. Okay, Rosemary, I'll have to check that out, or we all can. The CDFI fund is being cut. Community service, here's where we stopped. Community Services Block Grant, the CSBG. This budget eliminates the CSBG grants, saving taxpayers $770 million that has been hijacked from true poverty reduction to things such as equity building and green energy initiatives. Grants have funded things such as the California Community Action Partnership to host focus groups on bringing, quote, DEI to the forefront, and Community Action Agency in Wisconsin to combine clean energy with affordable housing in the pursuit of both economic and environmental justice. The next one is the National Science Foundation, general research grants and broadening participation. Now, this budget actually eliminates $5.2 billion from NSF, which has funded radical DEI and climate change alarmism. NSF no longer funds speculative research on impacts from extreme climate scenarios and niche social studies, such as a grant to the University of Nebraska to create affinity groups for bird watchers, or a $15.2 million grant to the University of Delaware to, quote, achieve sustainable equity and coastal resilience in the context of climate change, or programs addressing white supremacy in the STEM profession, or preparing, quote, the next generation of DEI leaders to promote long-term sustainable racial equity initiatives. Department of Justice grant programs are being cut. Instead of stopping crime and keeping Americans safe, DOJ grant programs have been funding DEI and cultural Marxism. Taxpayer dollars have gone to things such as $2 million for Puerto Rican feminist, culturally specific nonprofit organization to address structural racism and toxic masculinities, $2 million to Los Angeles County for healing-centered community violence interventions to advance equity and address mental stigma, and $200,000 to an organization for services that include, quote, gender-affirming medical care. Also, the budget does not provide DOJ's Office on Violence Against Women the resources to fund things such as the FIND, that's literally how it's spelled, a third gender group of biological men living in Samoa. And then the last two, these are cuts to woke programs. Environmental Protection Agency Environmental Justice Program. The budget eliminates this program that was a slush fund for climate and racial extremism. For example, the Thriving Communities Grantmaker distributes $600 million, including funding from the Inflation Reduction Act, in discretionary funds to programs that advance critical race theory and incentivize mass migration. The Environmental Justice Office claimed minorities were especially vulnerable to climate change because of their dependence on climate-sensitive resources, such as water and food supplies. And lastly, the U.S. Agency for International Development, Foreign Aid. And what program is that? USAID. U.S. economic and development aid has been funneled to radical leftist priorities, including climate change, DEI, and LGBTQ activities around the world. The budget eliminates funding for things such as net zero cities in Mexico, promoting political participation in LGBTQI plus communities around the world, and, quote, family planning abortion services in such places as Afghanistan, Syria, and Africa. So there's that. Hey, Fleetwood, how are you? I just needed to take a breather. Y'all forgive me. What'd y'all think of that list? You're on Facebook right now. I follow you and watch you every day. You are my news station. Oh, thank you, Susan. Well, welcome to the neighborhood. I appreciate you for that. You good this evening? How many new AIDS cases worldwide is a question I want answered. We'll never know, will we? So here's a question that I have for you all. How do you all feel about that list? That's a lot to process, isn't it, Miss Delina? You can't stand it, right? Because what I'm hearing in this write-up, because see, here's the thing. It is. And so here's the thing that is disconcerting to me is how it is written, right? And for the life of me, I am confused at how this is being twisted into, this is all about DEI. This is all about, let me explain something to you coming from a Black woman who literally went to, and I'm going to tell you all what happened today, which is very, very disconcerting to me. And it wasn't for me. I actually went with someone. And I went there kind of as moral support, but we definitely want to talk about it. So the scapegoating of these tiny funds. Yeah. Draining the swamp for a clean start. Oh, okay, Miko Nuno, if you say so. AI is coming to take these jobs, so they're trying to get the old boy network back in. It's slowly happening in our faces, okay? So a couple of things. If you're as exhausted as I am about this stuff, there will be more. So I need you all to take the weekend. If you have something to do, don't disconnect completely, but find your something to do that can help you ease your mind just a little bit. Okay. The second thing is continue to put you first, Lucius. That's the next thing. And it is very, Janet, it is very devastating because what we're watching and what we just read was from the White House's website, and you can actually go pull it yourself. But it just sounds like a bunch of wordy, it's like a word salad. Like it doesn't make much sense to me to continue to say that all of these programs, even for children, is all about DEI and LGBTQIA. Mary Jane, Caleb said, he said, okay, Mary Jane. Yeah. So this is hard for me because if we are not careful, yes, it is Sugar Mama, but you know what? This document I just read has been on the whitehouse.gov's website. Yeah, you just don't understand how he's still, well, we know why. So there's the government shutdown that's going on. And we also have people that have been in position for quite some time behind the scenes quietly pushing along all of the things that they want to have pushed along. And during the shutdown, a lot of these things are still being pushed along, if this makes sense. I'm terrified for all of this, but especially anyone he is looking to target. So let's talk about that. I always say, first of all, I'm going to put this out here because I know I might piss people off or upset people. Let me say that. I always say to people, get out your feelings. Why? Because these are business people and they do not think with emotion. What would these business people be doing right now? They would be trying to figure out ways to generate additional revenue or make more money. After what I heard that man say today, I am officially clear that he is playing a game. And we just happen to be the pieces on the game board. They are moving pieces around. They are moving pieces around. And so when you are moving pieces around, your goal is to what? What's your goal? Anybody, please. To win. He's playing chess. To win. At all costs. You've been saying this, Fleetwood, for the longest that things going to get worse. You have. I do recall early on when we first started this, the day shift and then the night shift. Yep. Confuse us and win. This is about winning. If you go back and you watch the video, it's the way he said it that lets me know this is a game and I'm going to win. I'm going to win. So now that we know that this is a game, we need to play the game too. So how would we do that? So let's put this in perspective, shall we? We for those of us who are not new here, how do you win at a game where you have the proletariats and the bourgeoisie? You have the haves and the have-nots. The have-nots work for whom? Haves. Silver Fox, they doing it. You want to know where they at? I can pull it up right now. I keep that sucker up. Silver Fox said the idea is to complete Project 2025. They're at 47% completion at this point. 318 objectives total. And right now, 119 of that 318 have been done. Yep. We share that a lot here, Silver Fox. I don't know if you're new here. Well, a couple of things. Yeah. So wow is the word. So everything that we just read to you guys is a part of this tracker. Project 2025.observer. That's where you can go get the exact same information that myself, Silver Fox, and others are familiar with, right? You made an app and transferred it with White House and legislative docs. Oh, I bet that thing is fire. Yep, you're right, Harmony. Piece of Harmony. You are. We are the people, period. So in a situation like this, then a couple of things that we can do. How do you play a game by yourself? Yes, we're very aware. So how do you stop the game? Peace and harmony, that's one way, yes. What's another way? Ty says, Carol Sue says, flip the board. How do we flip the board? Yep, strategically. No, I mean, then the game wouldn't be funny anymore or fun. Aunt Sis Jewelry says, play the game. How do we play the game, folks? A lot of you guys have the answer. I see it. Bingo. Who said that? Leave the game. Quit the game. We're the pieces. We're not even the opposing side. Yep. Okay. So let's put this in perspective. If we're playing a game and the game says, now again, here I go. I'm going to take my glasses off like I like to do so I can think out loud. Don't ask me why I do that. So if I were to play this game, and the game is really about, and this one doesn't work. She's just cute. I got to find another pen. Hold on. Much better. Where's my... Some people got it right. Let's also be clear that every act of current resistance is important. But what we also have to understand, perfect. We also have to understand is this. Oh, nice. I have a clear sheet of paper. Woohoo! All right. It's this. We are, and a marker. So in my head says, this is football team number 1, and they are called the Freds. Don't ask me why I want to call them Freds, but we're going to call them Freds. Freds is over here, and the other one is Terry. Fred and Terry. So Fred and Terry have a team each of 12 friends. Each one of these 12 friends has 5 game pieces. Y'all, I'm just making up stuff, right? Okay. So for each one of these, what are we at? Are we at like 60 or something like that, right? So we got 60 game pieces. So all of these game pieces are over here. These game pieces have wheels all over them. And the only way that these game pieces are actually going to be able to work is they have to come at each other this way and this way. Well, why are they doing that? Well, because they are literally here because Team Fred and Team Terry put them here, because the only way that they're going to get back here to replenish what they need is they got to go over here to Team Terry and to Team Fred on a regular basis, which is going to be every day, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, or 7 days a week, or whatever. So they're going to go out here. They're going to go to Terry, and they're going to go to their team leads, right? And they're going to go and get all of this stuff that they need. They're going to get replenished, and then they're going to go back out here, and they're going to face each other every single day to see who the better person is. Okay? Who's the better person? So, but here's the cool thing about this. Here's the most interesting thing. So out of this group of folks, you grow most of your food. We need to leave the game, period. That's it. So these 60 people here and this 60 game pieces right here have wheels on them, and they actually know how to think too. They just don't, because they've gotten so used to Terry and Fred being their source. And then they have to report over here to these 12 people that are up under Fred and under Terry, who ultimately are playing a game with these pieces that don't want to play. The pieces don't want to play. So in my head says, Fred and Terry are pretty big. But guess what Fred and Terry can't do? If the people don't play anymore. If the people don't play anymore, and we move off because we can, and we create our own experiences, well, how do we do that? Where we are. I've been saying that for I don't know how long. This is the way my brain thinks, y'all. This looks like a Rorschach test, okay? It really does. Exactly. You can't win if you don't play. They can't win. I don't want to eat them, because you are what you eat. So if these little people down here with the little wheels come up here to play, guess what? They can rise above Fred and Terry. The Paulette Flocher, right? Yep. We need to do what we've known how to do for a very long time, and that's stop playing the game. It's actually standing up from the game board that's on our backs and knocking the game off of our backs. How do you do that? We've been talking about that for some time. It does not mean, first of all, that does not mean that you are anti-American. It doesn't mean that you don't stand for what is patriotic. This is This is ultimately who the US of A is. Our patriots who said, enough is enough. We sick and damn tired. Let me explain something to y'all. If you forgot the money that is literally being handed over to these other countries in the middle of this shutdown, is coming from you and from me. And I'm thrown off that my neighbors literally are not able to feed their children because the companies are overcharging for everything. So you got to work twice as hard. You got to go get a second and a third damn job. So then you never get an opportunity to see your family or your children or to live this American dream that everybody said was here. You know what I mean? Let me tell y'all what happened today. So we went to this job, I think it was like a job fair or whatever at this local company. And I was going for moral support. Because let me tell you something I'm sick of. No, at this age, it's just certain things, and it's and all of this beautiful brown bean footage that I'm carrying around on this skin. It's a lot of companies that don't want to touch me. So I gave up looking a long time ago. It's been about 3 years now. I gave up. I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this no more. I'm not begging anybody for a gig, a job, or whatever. I'm going to make my own. And so that's what kicked all of this off. But what I'm saying is we sat there from 11:30 in the morning. The job fair started at 11. We sat there from 11:30 in the morning until 3 o'clock, and they started sending people home because there were too many people at the job fair that they couldn't see everybody. I'm going to put it like that. You could literally see the look of desperation on people's faces because they said that they were hiring on the spot. Y'all, I went and sat in my car and I did the breaking news. I did all kinds of stuff. I was like, okay, well, I'm just go sit outside, right? Until you get finished with whatever you get finished. We went to lunch and came back and they still hadn't called everybody. People have been sitting there since 9 in the morning in their cars. The line was outside and they did not finish. They were done seeing people. People had gotten dressed up and had their resumes in their hands. And I was mortified because people were saying, I've been laid off for so-and-so and so-and-so. And can I keep it 100 with y'all since it's just us in the neighborhood sitting at the dining room table playing spades, got the drinky drink for the Friday night? Everybody looked like me. Desperate for a job because they've been laid off. I'm not making this up. And I dare not have taken a picture or a video of the line of people because that's too personal and that's too intimate. The lines literally were longer than the lines at this warehouse. It was crazy. And I felt so bad. And I thought, this is not really happening. But I witnessed them turn people away. Because if you didn't have if you didn't have cake decorating experience, or if you didn't know how to cut meat, they were not hiring. But your sign said that you were hiring for retail managers, cashiers, part-time cashiers, that you were hiring for different departments like tire department, automotive and so forth, and XYZ, right? All the things that different departments within this warehouse. And you said, no, we're not hiring. Well, then why does your sign outside say that that's what you were hiring for? Well, we didn't know this many people. What do you mean you didn't know this many people in this climate were not going to show up? The line. So then when you got in line, You had to wait your turn to write your name on a piece of paper. So she stood in line for an hour and a half to write her name on a piece of paper, then got out of line and waited 3 more hours. And they never called. Some people had been there since 9 and their names never got called. Professional people, you could tell, laid off. So then I decide to come back here and we sit down and I say, well, let's see who's hiring online. Because now I'm trying to make the day better. You know what I mean? Like, what can we do? XYZ, right? So I go and we open up one of the laptops in my dining room. And I'm like, okay, this company, this company, this company. Guess what? None of them were hiring. None of them. Unless, of course, you wanted to be a data analyst with an MBA in statistics. And I thought, what is going on? So these people have wasted that. See, here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. You're desperate. You need the money. You're going to sit there because they said that they were hiring on the spot. And people were ready to start working. You know why? Because your rent is due. Your mortgage is due. Your car note is due. Your kids need food. Food stamps are getting ready to be cut off in November for some people who receive food stamps. You cannot even afford childcare because guess what? They've cut that program. So now what do? And guess what? You can't call Big Mama no more. You know why? Because I'm Big Mama. And I am not my mother. I'm sorry, I'm not. Ghost jobs online. I'm going somewhere with this and I know we're going to go back to Steve Bannon in just a minute. We have taken 1 step forward and 10 steps back. And so it was so disheartening to watch this and to go, look at all of these brothers and sisters in here. Everybody desperate for a job. People started getting up, leaving. People were hanging. And I'm not saying there weren't any other people there, but I would say 95% of the people there were Black. There was there was another percentage of people of color, like Indian, and then also Hispanic. I saw maybe 4 or 5 white folks. True story. I was just getting ready to say that, Stealthy Steph. Stealthy Steph said, hell, grandmothers are working. We're working. I'm a grandmother. I work every day. Not 5 days a week. I work every day. We ain't sitting at home watching My Stories and The Price is Right and all of the shows and cooking dinner and doing laundry and watching grandbabies during the day while you at work. That doesn't happen anymore because our bills still need to be paid. Things are different now. So when we hear that these social programs that he was talking about, it's literally, it says cuts to woke program. Like what? So I thought I would just share that with you all so that you are, hang on. It's a lot, I know. And I know you all are like, wait a minute. So here we go. Let's get ready to play this video with Steve Bannon. Let's see how long it is. Because y'all need to hear this.
Trying to lay some groundwork for something, or maybe just utter nonsense, and Steve Bannon, is feeling lonely and wants to be.
Whoa, man, amazing car. When did you become a millionaire?
Oh, and then I have this.
We're trying to get advice for the younger generation.
Groundwork for something, or maybe just utter nonsense.
Ultimately, before, okay.
Of it. No,
It's 13 minutes long, y'all. I don't want to play that whole thing.
Bannon, welcome to the Insider.
Honored entrepreneurial capitalism. And if that takes hot rhetoric, well, buy the MAGA move, right? So it's a blocking mechanism. And take that, like I said, you move the maximalist strategy with a sense of urgency. You didn't have a populist national.
Let's see.
So you're
Is
saying the
a
American people?
populist justification for a quasi-dictator.
Populist globalist in when you spent a lot of time in Europe.
Putting people, but no, the European project. Because remember, in this very room is where Nigel
Okay,
Farage
6
first
minutes.
talked about Brexit. Before it even
Here we
became
go.
a thing.
Here we
He
go,
had- he
y'all.
had a gathering
Almost.
Of, well, he's going to get a third term. So Trump 28. Trump is going to be president 28. And people just sort of get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is. But there's a plan, and President Trump will be the president in 28. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President
Did y'all
Trump
hear that?
will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him.
You
to be
heard it.
president of the United States. We have to finish what we started, and the way we finish it through Trump. Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but he's a vehicle of divine providence. He's an instrument. He's very imperfect. He's not churchy, not particularly religious, but he's an instrument of divine will, and you can tell this of how he's pulled this off. We need him for at least one more term, right? And he'll get that in 28.
You're not driving me crazy. I'm trying to understand the coherence of the things you've just told me in the last few minutes. On the one hand, you've said the Constitution is fit for purpose. Secondly, you've said that President Trump needs another term, even though the 22nd Amendment makes pretty clear that he cannot have a second another
And why
term
is it make that clear?
because he's on his second term already.
At some point in time, we will make sure we go through Zanny and define all those terms.
But even if
We
you
would
find
define
a
all
way
those terms.
to undermine you will be undermining the spirit of that amendment, even if you find some way around it. And to those
Can the
people who
American
could,
people, if the American people, with the mechanisms we have, put Trump back in office, are
You want me to rewind that grape?
tearing up the Constitution? Would that be tearing
Well,
up? Would the American people be going against the spirit of the Constitution?
I think yes, actually, because I
You
think
should-
what you will end up with
So you're
is
saying the
a
American people-
populist justification for a quasi-dictatorship.
That's not true at all. Trump
That's what it sounds like.
It's not. Trump is a dictatorship. Did you just see the compromises he had to make on the big beautiful bill? You see the compromises he has to do on everything, on accommodating Zelensky, on what President Trump. President Trump is nothing but
Agreed,
a series of
Keyshawn.
negotiations to kind of keep this thing rolling forward, where he's having trade-offs all the time.
You've
Please
just
give me-
spent the
please
last
give me-
20 minutes telling me we have to
please.
smash the other side. There's no room for debate. There's no room for compromise. We must smash them. And now you're telling me this is a negotiation. And that's
No.
I guess
On
that's
his,
why
on
it
his,
seems
pop-
to me
on
some
his
kind of
policy.
tension
First off,
there.
the only way President Trump wins in 2028 and continues to stay in office is by the will of the American people. Okay? And the will of the American people is what the Constitution embodies. So I think we're going to be in good hands there. We need to finish what we started. And President Trump is the instrument, a providential instrument to finish this job.
A few minutes ago, you talked about populist nationalism.
You heard that, right? Everybody's saying no. Yeah. Thank you for that, Keyshawn, for having me to pull that up, because I wanted you guys, again, a lot of this stuff is not anything, again, that I am making up and just like tossing out there. I want you to hear it for yourself. Thank you, Ducky May. Yes, I agree, Lulu. So the thing is let's go back to this portion of what we, the people, can do, where we are, right? And I know it sounds very minuscule, and we talk about it often. So, you know, this is your call to action. Number one, what do we say often here? Shop local. Come out of your big box retailers. Come out of these places that have lended their energy, their time, and their resources and this money towards making sure that we remain the people who clock in. Now, let's be clear. I absolutely understand that you got to eat. I'm nobody's fool. Go to work and come home. That's it, Susan. Susan said it best. Susan Austin says, don't work for them, don't buy from them, don't ask them for nothing, don't give them the power to starve us or feed us poison. And here's the thing, boom. Shop local. Start paying attention to what's happening in your local jurisdictions, in your own communities. When was the last time that you voted for your alder people or your ombudsman or your commissioner, your county commissioner? Start there. Start looking at your local elections. There, a lot of us are having our early voting happening now, and then we have our voting that is happening on November 4th. Many of us need to start very basic and get right down to the crux of what is happening in our communities. When was the last time you went to a board of commissioners meeting or aldermen's meeting in your county? If you're able to get off work, we need to start finding out what your county government is doing. What is your county government? What is your city government doing? Do you even know? Do you know why your property taxes are what they are? Do you understand that there may be particular provisions that are in place about things that are happening in your area, but because you're not showing up for the local meetings, you don't know what's happening. You're not able to use your voice because you're not there. And so decisions are being made for you, and then you get mad, and then you get on social media, and that's not helping the situation. That's number one, right? Thank you, the chicken doctor. So the first thing is to get as granular as you possibly can. Because again, we still the people. I say that all the time. We still the people. But the hard part is somewhere along the line, we have been told, and some of us believe it, that we don't have enough power. But I guess I'm gonna have to go back to the movie Ants. And we have to be reminded of what the crickets knew, was that if enough of us got together, we could make some things shake. But we've gotten too comfortable. How many days, once again, did the Montgomery bus boycott take? It took 381. I'll say it once, I'll say it again, and I don't care who don't like it. We can't stay out of Target for 2 days. If we want real lasting change, we have to make sure that we are taking care of our communities right where we currently are. And we're not. We're not. I remember the very first march that they did, the first No Kings, they did a survey afterwards, and people were upset. Fleetwood said, I can too. There's a lot of us that can. But there are a lot of us that say, I'm not staying out of Target. That's where I want to go, XYZ. Let me tell y'all something. Target's getting ready to lay off 1,800 people. I reported on that this morning. 1,800 people. They said it's because they have to restructure. Well, I bet you do. Good for you, inspired by Ebony Love. They got cute stuff, but I'm good. Boom. So there are a lot of us. Yes, honey, Fleetwood. They're saying that it's because they need to restructure, and you know that the old CEO is stepping down and a new one is stepping up, and they're shuffling their leadership around, right? To kind of shake it off. And then now you can find Tabitha Brown at Dollar General. You know, her sunshine seasoning is at Dollar General, you know, all the things. So people are learning how to pivot. We need to learn how to do the same thing. How are we pivoting? How are we taking care of ourselves on a local level? Remember before the big box retailers came into our communities, and you had a store that was owned by the local people in your communities, and you had to stop at every single last one of them to get the things that you needed. There was a shoe store, there was a hat store, there was a girdle store, there was a corseteer shop, there was a suit shop, there was a somebody maker, there was a shoe repair. There were all of these stores that made up your downtown area. And when the big box retailer came in and gave discounted prices, and there were these huge bins, and I'm old enough to remember some of them bins would be at your grocery store, and that's where you got your tennis shoes from school year from, right? So now you got all these companies in one building selling you all this stuff. And now small town USA dried up and disappeared. because we were looking for a deal. And what we didn't know was that we were experiencing this trickle down effect of everything that made us who we were as a people. And that was local Americans taking care of each other, because the hat shop guy was also the pastor or the imam. I'm good, Jambi. How are you? Then you have the shoe guy that's doing all the shoe repairs. He was the coach for the little league team. And the dressmaker, she taught ballet. And all of y'all went to school together, or you all knew each other, and you all were a part of the community. And if you didn't have it, guess what? You could barter. Because I may need my baby's hair braided. And I don't know how to braid her. I'm not going to sit there and braid. And I doggone sure not know how to iron and press some clothes and make you look good. Or I may know how to babysit, and I know you really can't afford it. And then on Saturdays, I very well may get up and go down to the flea market, because everything that I need is at the flea market anyway. And those very people that are there selling those items are what? Local people. Feeding back into what? The local economy. I sound like a broken record to the people that come in this room often, but it has to be said over and over and over again. And yes, we are. I understand that there's a what is it? I think it's called the People's Sick Day or something, where they're boycotting from November 25th until December 2nd or something like that. Well, what happens after? It can't be one day. It can't be your day off on a Saturday that you stand around. There's no traffic to block because everybody's off because you're in the march. There's no business to shut down because the office that you work in and all of the offices that are right here that you're standing in front of protesting, they closed on Saturdays. I will not ever say that it was not impactful, because it absolutely was and still is. You want lasting change? You want lasting change? Bingo. Susan hit it. Let's bring back Small Town USA. You want to go to the movie so bad, but I'm going to stay home, make my own movie and watch. Yeah. I said the same thing, Rosemary. We are the leaders, Fleetwood. That's the problem. You take the leader out, the whole machine dies. Everybody's a leader, and they know that. That's how we lost Malcolm. That's how we lost Bobby Seale. That's how we lost Fred Hampton. That's how we lost MLK. All of these people were our quote unquote leaders, and eventually they were taken out. And when you take out the head of the snake, the whole thing falls apart. They know that. And that's the hard part. Every last one of us is a leader in our own regard and in our own right and in our own communities. And when we are out and we're talking to people and we're at work or we're driving our trucks and we're doing all the things, how many people are we talking to and impacting and educating them on the things that you may know about how the change has to come, and it has to start here. And why do we talk about things in the news? Because you need to know what the plan. You don't want to wake up and they're standing outside your front door in fatigues, and you're trying to figure out what they're here for. You absolutely need to know what's going on. Well, oh my God, today. That would be good if she did. But we all have a voice. We all have a voice. And we all can say something like I'm saying something right now, because this is serious, folks. This is not anything that we should be sitting around saying. And I know y'all know that, right? Because the people that come in this room, you're fully aware of what we all have a voice. We all have one. I don't want to play this game anymore. I'm ready to get off. I'm ready to stop the world and get off. So since I am the creator of the world that I seek, I choose to keep my focus on where I am local. When I get up in the morning, I wish I would hit a big box retailer up. I know I have a discount grocery store here. I know I'm going to go there. I have local restaurants here. I know I'll probably go and have lunch there as well. I know that I'm helping a friend of mine move some things around tomorrow. I already know that. So I already know what I'm going to do. If it's something that I just have to have, somebody will get it for me. I know how to get on Marketplace if I have to, all the things. I saw them today in my area. ICE was in McDonough, Georgia today. And I thought, oh, you don't think we don't know what that is? And they were literally driving through, but I thought, why are you getting back here? You'll be at the library renting. Come on now and renting DVDs for free with my library card. Yes. So now I love Kayshawn's segues because here we go. Because it is Friday, y'all, and I want to go watch a movie. I don't even know what I'm going to watch, but it'll probably be something on PBS. But listen, let's go through our call to actions. Because I got a bunch of content to make this weekend, y'all. Bunch of content. All right. So what do? Shop local. What else do you do? Find out what's happening in your local communities in terms of the politics. And let your voice be heard there, because you have a right to that. The other one is, where is your Constitution? How many people got their little bitty Constitution? Where's mine? I've been moving stuff, from the dining room to in my office, back in my office. I think it's still on the kitchen counter. But get your Constitution and read that sucker. You got yours? If you do not have your copy of the Constitution, remember, where are they? Honey, they at Five Below. Little blue book. I forgot who that was. I think it was Bookish Boy Mom. She said she bought a couple and gave them away as gifts. Know the Constitution. You did. Okay, you're still here. Yeah. Know the Constitution. That's number 2. That's number 3, 4, whatever. Right? You bought 3. She bought 3 boxes of the Constitution. Girl, Kayshawn, listen. Yes, Finding Your Roots on PBS. Speaking of Finding Your Roots, I just got an email from 23andMe that they have some new matches for me. I'm terrified. Now let's talk about another call to action. So now we do know that SNAP benefits are going away on November 1st. You made them go to the back and give you everyone in stock. Holy cow. Okay, I know what I'm doing tomorrow. Constitution for everybody. Everybody in the house gets the Constitution. That's a great idea. File exempt. Because guess what? No taxation without representation. You're not being represented. And you remember this. This is not this. If we don't want to play, stop giving them the tokens to play with. And it's your money. No taxation without representation. And pass them out like the Bible. Take the Constitution to church. Yep. Uh-huh. Bingo. I mean, because that's how they're able to do this. I asked everyone if they have an extra, can they please make sure the kids in their community eat. Let me put this up on the screen. For those of you all who are on the other platforms, I'm going to go ahead and put this up. Ooh, wrong mouse. Okay. So Susan Austin on Facebook said, I asked everyone if they have extra cans, can they please make sure the kids in their community eat? If the SNAP for them doesn't get sent out, please do what you can. Absolutely, 100%. So let's talk about that briefly, shall we? If you do have anything, a couple of things. Number one, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to call some churches out. Where your churches at? Whose churches is doing anything for some of these families that's getting ready to lose their SNAP benefits? Find out who they are and share that information on social media, please. You donate money to the biggest food bank in your community. They have it down. Yep. Make sure that you're sharing that information. Thank you for that, Susan. Make sure that because see, now it's going to take the collective, right? And it's always been that way, especially for me. So I know that if I have extra, I always take it right around the corner to this local food pantry. Hey, Shock, how you doing? Come on in. Yep, Too Good to Go. That's an amazing app. And basically that lets you save money because at the end of the day, most of these restaurants and stuff have stuff that they can't get rid of. And there are other things that are on there as well. I would absolutely check it out. Absolutely. You looking for other ways to make money? I'm going to start doing a list. We just going to have a list. You'll be able to download it from my page. Yeah. What's another one that we talk about a lot in here? Help me out. Help me out. Somebody help me out. What's another app we talk about? Yes, Kayshawn said, check out your local garden if you have not already started your own, because it's harvest season now, folks. So you're going to be drop shipping. Yes, think about that. Do some drop shipping. That's one way to generate some revenue. Here's another way to generate some revenue. What service can you do well or in your sleep? Offer that as an option. And can I keep it 100 with you? Everybody is not going to be able to go to ChatGPT and create a course on something they know nothing about and turn around and package it up and put it in a stand store and sell it to you. I think that is the most bogus game ever. What do you really know how to do? Can you package it and sell it? That's number one. Number two, the other thing is there's several different apps that you can utilize. Yep. Google what is edible in your area. Flea markets and farmers markets, Rosemary B said. You made a bunch of jam from foraged berries. Oh my. Period. Patricia Law said, take it back. We have to take it back. We have to. And it starts local. And we've gotten away from that because everything is so global, where everything is, oh, I got to do this, I got to do it. And a lot of what you need, if not all of it, is right where you currently are. And the hard part is because we've gotten so global, we've impacted local business people and local businesses who live in your area, who pay back into the system that they're currently living in. Janet Marie, you all give me hope, believe it or not. You just fix everything. Honey, I wish you was close enough. I would ask you if you know how to fix cars. I would have how much you charge. Let me stop. Oh my God. Yeah. If you don't have any local grocery stores, listen, we're not saying we don't understand that some areas literally only have a Walmart. You can also put blessing boxes in your lot. Oh, this is a good one, y'all. So Susan Austin on Facebook said you can also put blessing boxes in your yard where you put extra food in it. They can, for example, they need rice, take it from the box and put something else in it. Love that. It's almost like in my neighborhood, we have a mini library, like little houses with books in them. And then you could put your books in there. And then take out a book that you want. And people, it's an honor system. People really do it. All up and down through where I live. We have these little houses with books in them. It's super cute. So that's another thing that you can do. Yeah, it's a great idea. It's so many different. They have refrigerators like that. Yeah, and there are refrigerators like that as well. You're absolutely right. If anyone is in Chicago, they have a farm on the southeast side called Urban Growers Collective. Urban Growers Collective. There are communities that have community refrigerators where they do that. Okay, inspired by Ebony Love. Yeah, kind of the same thing. And it's done on the honor system, and it's pretty cool. There's a guy down here that does that with his farm fresh eggs, and especially when eggs were ridiculous. He had chickens, honey. They were laying eggs so much every day he couldn't eat them all. He was like, just come get them. Tailoring skills, sewing skills. Yeah, the little libraries all the time. Pick some up too. That's where some of these came from. I read them and put them up here because they're so good. I want to go back and read them again. Yep. If you live in an apartment and have a patio or a balcony, start growing, some veggies in containers. That's another thing too. I love that idea, Susan. Blessing boxes. This is what I'm talking about. This is how you start. And even though it is super small, I'm going to say this. And y'all, one day, some of you all are going to be like, would you stop saying the same thing? No. My sister used to say this often. What was it that she was? Even in the midst of chaos, there is divine order. This is the divine order. It may look chaotic, but in our minds, we're all thinking the same thing. It's some people are calling it the people's sick day. We can do this. They not about to starve. No, absolutely not. Ain't nobody gonna starve. You're writing them down, Rosemary? Absolutely. And share this information with your communities. Please do. Share it with your communities. Your aeroponic towers are great for apartments. I have always wanted one. If you live near a food warehouse, I live near Cheney Food Warehouse. So that's a good point, Wanda. So there's a like I was saying, a discount food grocer here in my area, and I think I'm gonna hit them up tomorrow because there's a food bank not far, like I said, like around that corner from my house, and I know they about to get hit up. Yeah. That's it. We have to create our own systems and institutions. Hey, Deals with Nia, how are you? Y'all, we can do this. We can absolutely do this. Now, one other thing that I know that I talked about was creating the directory. So I'm working with a friend of mine to add a directory of sorts for some of this stuff to be placed online at Brownstone Worldwide. The minute that it is done, it looks like it'll probably be the end of next week. Probably not, because I'm going to my nephew's funeral. It'll probably be within the next 2 weeks. I'll say that. We'll have something put together. So happy Friday, girl, because I'm usually not on here on Fridays. We just been talking about that video I did. Thank you so much. It was very unexpected. He was 21. He was my great nephew. He was just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and I'm trying to figure out how to process it. Good kid. He was a good kid. Had just become a dad. That violence out there is real, y'all, and he was minding his business. Wrong place, wrong time. Yeah. I was still in shock because I remember when he was born. But yeah. Thank you. So that, and then with everything else that's going on, but I'll say this. It is about the directory. We'll put something together because I want to, it is something that the collective can do. Remember what I said earlier, the power of the collective consciousness. Everybody is playing a role. Sit down, including the Trump administration. I want y'all to hear that. Good always wins. Every time. Thank you, Susan. Good always wins. Not once, not sometimes, every time. What we must make sure that we understand is what the components and the opponent is doing, because they're treating us like game pieces. Come out the game. Come out the game. Get out your feelings and come out this game. And put on a new game board. Absolutely. You absolutely will, Carol Sue. We will live to see it. Yep. Oh no, and it's not gonna happen. Because we know what to do. Remember the story. Remember the story that my foster mom told me about when they were. This one gave me the idea, and I just kept saying, there's got to be a reason why that is ringing in my ears. And I told y'all this back in March. We are the change. That's right. Black communities had no choice but to do this. Because during Jim Crow, they couldn't go and hang out and be a part of the communities that were the most impacted during the 20s. So a lot of Black communities really didn't feel the impact of the Great Depression because they had already created their own communities. And I have never forgotten when my foster mother told me that. She looked at me like I had lost my mind. And those are the same communities that they tried to destroy and did. Because we weren't spending money in their communities. Their money was staying in their community for 10 times before it actually left out. Now, when most of us get paid, it immediately goes to big box retailers. It immediately goes to large grocers. It immediately goes to the clothing store. And it immediately goes to Black folks. I'm talking to you now. It immediately goes to the beauty supply store, or it immediately goes to the gas station that's selling the hot wings that's got the Black folks up front, but it's really the other people in the back. And guess what they taking and doing with our money? They putting it back into their communities, and we keep losing. Yep. Oh, honey, Keshawn, my daughter told me, I just read the parable of the sower. I was like, baby, that was a college requirement for me. Yeah. Octavia Butler, she called it. 1984 is another one. We need to be reading. We need to be reading about some of this stuff because the stories have already been told in not only the history books, but in, yes, and Carol Sue, you're right. Yep, 1929. And we are getting to know one another. Thank you, Cody. Hi, how are you? Welcome to the neighborhood. So listen, before we wrap, because I'm getting ready to get on down. You hear me? Because it's been a day. Listen, a couple things. One, brownstoneworldwide.com. Make sure you check us out. Cityscape Radio for the weekend. What's going on right now? Oh, y'all don't want to go over there right now because it's not bad. But it's Friday night, and you can use deductive reasoning on what's playing right now. Art Tatum is playing. Let's see, Donald Byrd, Glenn Miller. Okay. And then some podcasts tomorrow. And then we support them and they treat us like trash. But you know what? It's all good because we already know what to do. We know since we are virtual now, we are the community. And there are so many different ways that we can literally generate revenue amongst one another, barter. Of course, we know about Etsy. We know about WhatsApp. We know about some people use Kincaid. Some say it's sketchy or questionable, but then you have other ways, not WhatsApp, what's it called? The Whatnot app. There's so many different things that you can do to generate this revenue. TikTok shop. And then, I noticed that sometimes even on TikTok or even on Meta, people are selling things. So there's different ways for you to bring in revenue for yourself, even if you are being monetized on any one of these programs. It's so many different ways. Printify, oh my God, yes, love me some Printify. I have a t-shirt. My Brownstone Worldwide t-shirts were made with Printify. I've used print on demand for my step and repeats that's hanging right here that I use when I go to events and stuff like that. Yep. Yeah, hang on just a minute, Rosemary. Hang on, let's see. And then Brownstone Living Magazine. We're already working on. He's an American attorney who works for the U.S. Department of Justice. Is that who you're talking about? That's what I pulled up. The shift is occurring right now, Starlight. I don't know if anybody knows that. His job is to independently investigate and, if necessary, prosecute cases involving former President Donald Trump. Is that who you're talking about? Yep, I know I can. I've been feeling it now since you hear about this group of folks called the 4 a.m. Club. Yeah, a lot of us are there. We're shifting. A lot of us can tell. Key investigations, 2020 election, classified documents case, Mar-a-Lago. Special counsel operates mostly independently of the Justice Department's regular chain of command. Interesting. Okay. International crime, something or other. This is him then. His investigations are among the most closely watched legal battles in U.S. history. Trump has pleaded not guilty to all charges and claims the cases are politically motivated. See, it's a game. It's a game to them. He was indicted. Hang on. Now I'm Googling for real women. Which I was like, who is Jack Smith? That's what I put in there. I didn't know about that. He's being investigated for his conduct. Let's see. That's what it currently says here. Hold on, let me. But he's, y'all. Let's see. Oh, he did. He said he demands to testify under oath. Yeah. No. Not at all. He's the man, and we need him to finish the job of getting. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. These are revenge indictments. That's what he's calling these. And he said he's down for asked to testify publicly on the investigations. And like you said, with cameras. Baby, I'm going to bed. Y'all not finna have me up all night doing research. Yeah, under oath in Congress so he can reveal how. Yeah. They're trying to. And he's like, bring it on. He is not rogue counsel. He's asking to testify. Yeah, they're going to try. Susan Austin said, I teach people how to make $1,000 a day. Girl. Attorneys for Jack Smith dispute inaccurate claims. He tapped senators' phones. Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. It's always something. Yep, bring it on. That's what he said. Bring it on. Okay. And then on the Hill, I'm getting all this. Well, this is on the 17th of October. Marsha Blackburn calls for investigation into Jack Smith. So, yeah, she's a Republican from Tennessee. I ain't surprised. And then he also faces arrest over Arctic frost investigation, which, of course, now I'm going to have to do some further digging and research. It's a lot of things. I'm going to say this. It's a lot of things that you all will hear me say, but I'm a firm believer. If you reap what you sow, that's it. So we can't expect people to not pay for the things that they do that impact so many, right? You just cannot. And we've seen what has happened to so many. Yep. But anyway, I hope you guys have learned something tonight. As always, y'all know what I try to do is just give information, and what you do with it, once again, is up to you. And it's hard. Oh, by making their own products. Well, Susan, you need to inbox me. I'd love to see what you have. And let's talk about how we can interview you for Brown Still Living magazine. That'd be great. Well, thank you for being here, Bo. hip. Y'all, listen. All right, now this is the last one. I'm going to bed. I've had a heck of a day. I'm trying not to cuss. I may have heard about it. Hassan Piker, Integrated Health Information Platform. Oh my God. Ooh, my girl today. Is this the iHip News? Is that what we're talking about? Is it always informative? Thank you for that. Is this the yeah, have a good night. Who is that? Rosemary. Okay, Rosemary. I love when she does that. Of course, Wanda. Of course. I'm gonna keep that up, Fleetwood. How about that? This has been a very interesting evening. So we learned something today. We learned to shop local, pay attention to our local elections, and get more involved on a local level, including in our Board of Education meetings. That's something else that we learned. What else did we learn? We also learned that we always knew. We always knew. And that's not a bad thing. Because in order for us to get to the good things, we got to walk through the mud. And when this is over, I didn't say if. When this is over, there will be time and room enough for each one of us to rebuild. And yes, we will see it in our lifetime. We will see it in our lifetime. I am a firm believer in that. And this is a good thing for a lot of us, because a lot of us would be dead asleep thinking that Kamala had it under control, not knowing that all of the covers still needed to be revealed. Everything needed to be pulled back, and it wouldn't have happened under her, because we would think we were good. Why am I saying that? One bird, two wings. She would have just been the gentler one, and we wouldn't be paying attention to what's happening overseas. We wouldn't know what was going on in Gaza. We wouldn't know what was going on in Sudan and in Ghana. We wouldn't know what was happening in Burkina Faso. We wouldn't know what's happening in France. We wouldn't know about any of this. We wouldn't know that our tax dollars took out another vote today in Venezuela. We wouldn't know. You know why? Because it's Friday, and if she were in office, we would be hanging out with friends, laughing and talking and kikiing and talking about how great it is, and the economy would be doing well, and people would have jobs, and no one would be paying attention. A lot of us don't want to admit that, but it's true. You have a right, you have a civic duty and a right to know what your tax dollars do. Every time that little girl opens her mouth on that microphone and says things and twists words over and over and over, as she does it as if she is stomping her foot with that blonde hair flipping, you paying her paycheck. You hear me? Every time somebody goes in front of another group of military folks that work for the American people, you cutting a check every time you get paid. And if you were someone that hired these people and they weren't performing to your standards, what would you do? I know what I would do. I'm just saying. You got folks standing in the courthouse on these different positions and whatnot, and they're just doing one person's bidding on your and my dime. Make that make sense. You can't. And with that, 3 things that I always like to tell every single person before we end every single broadcast. Over this weekend, I'm going to be doing some filming to get ready for the 3 tiers of the people in the neighborhood. So I'm going to be filming y'all to prepare for that. So you can join us in the corner, the stoop, or become an ambassador with the Neighborhood Watch. The corner is only $5 a month. It includes 1 monthly vlog that will not be seen on social media. You only can get it through the membership portal. 1 bonus video piece of content and access to private threads and questions for the shows, shout outs, and a fan poll, birthday shout outs. The stoop is $10. You can always go there and check that out and get a full length episode of the Sunday brunch, which we actually start filming next week. Private live stream of the day shift or the night shift. I will always announce that because it won't be both. I said private, not here. So I'm really going to cut up live event pre-sale codes, live product discount codes, and merch discount is $10 a month. Ambassador, you can become an ambassador. What does that do? Everything in the stoop and the corner. Early access to Brownstone Living Magazine, early access to live events. You'll always get them first. 2 exclusive Neighborhood Watch segment podcasts, and you'll get a one-on-one planning session with me, usually through Zoom or through in-person events. I know those are coming up as well in the summer. Along with the block party. And then we have virtual Neighborhood Watch Ambassador badge and access to exclusive Neighborhood Watch Ambassador planner board sheets. Recipes, merch, and mention. Let's talk about that. Merch and mention goes like this. You will do a raffle, and the raffle will only be on the private side of things. It will never be on social media so that I can follow those community guidelines to reach more people. You will always be put into a pool if you are an ambassador with the Neighborhood Watch. This is good for businesses or people that just want additional recognition and stuff like that. That's cool too. Your name will be pulled. You'll get merch, and you will get a mention monthly in Brownstone Living Magazine if you win. So there you go. All right. So those are the 3 that you can always select. Where can you find this information? Well, guess what? I'll be putting it in stories once again. And then also at Brownstone Living Magazine over the weekend. I'll definitely be talking about it again. Definitely check out brownstoneworldwide.com, Brownstone Living Magazine, and Cityscape Radio for the weekend and throughout the rest of the week. And go ahead and follow me if you are on social media at Brownstone Worldwide. On all things social media and my personal pages as well, especially if you're on LinkedIn right now and all of the other places. And lastly, 3 things that I always like to tell every single person before we leave every show. 1, love your life. It is the only one that you have. 2, live your life to the fullest and embrace the life that you have because you only get one you. And lastly, breathe through every single moment. You guys, I will see you around sometime this weekend. Continue to stay connected because I'm going to be doing news a little bit more and more and more and more and more. And don't give up on me because things are happening super, super fast over here. So I'm having to do a lot of overlays and stuff like that so people can stop taking my content and getting paid for it, right? All right. So you guys enjoy your weekend. I'll see you around. All right. We're going to start this music. That's what we're going to do. Bye.
Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Fernell. Here to entertain, and we will help you live well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are welcome in the essence. This broadcast brownstone, the light is contagious. But you need go on and receive it for yourself. Just open it, exuberant, evolution exciting. We standing on the foundation of expression. You might have seen, you might have been, or you could have gravitated. Our foundation, we want to create a space for all to collaborate and be liberated from eventually all over the globe. And we are extending a hand to those who are an extension from maybe platforms, dig into another stratosphere. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Boozy and Breakfast with Bernard, here to entertain, and we will help you live well. And that is MSG, the message in the message. I can OD on my execution of excellency. And this as a man right now, and things aren't created, but see truth.